Hey everybody, and welcome to The Deep Dive. I'm Ryan Lamas. You know me, I like to make sense of the complicated stuff.
And I'm Renata Scleto here to add that so what factor.
All the cool things we uncover.
You got it.
Well, today we're going to break down a really popular way of eating.
Oh, yeah.
It's called the ketogenic diet. Keto for short.
Keto.
And we're going to do it like keto for fifth graders.
All right.
We'll be using some really cool sources, a video from Dr. Berg's YouTube channel, and then some scientific papers from Stat Pearls and the National Center for Biotechnology Information.
Awesome.
And for anyone new to the deep dive, we're actually part of the
That's right.
Thinkiverse podcast YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
Our motto is unlocking knowledge across the spectrum every day.
Every day.
So if you dig this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more.
Absolutely.
All right, so keto. It seems like everyone's talking about it.
It is.
But what's the big deal?
Well, think about it this way. Normally, your body loves to use sugar or glucose from carbs as its main fuel source. It's like your body's favorite snack.
I like it.
But on the keto diet, you drastically cut back on carbs,
Yeah.
forcing your body to find a new snack to munch on.
So it's like when your favorite snack runs out,
Yeah,
you got to raid the pantry for something else.
exactly.
Yeah.
And in this case, something else is fat. When your body doesn't have enough glucose, it starts breaking down fat and turns it into these little energy packets called ketones.
Okay.
Like your body's backup generator kicking in.
I see. That makes sense.
Right.
So Dr. Berg actually makes this point about getting healthy to lose weight, not the other way around.
That's right.
It's not just about cutting carbs for the
Right.
sake of it.
Yeah. And the science backs that up. Stat Pearls emphasizes improving metabolic health first,
I like that.
making your body work better from the inside out.
That's awesome. And Dr. Berg talks about something called intermittent fasting, or
Oh, yeah.
as part of this healthy approach. He says it's not about starving yourself, but more about when you eat.
Right.
Can you break that down a little bit for us?
Imagine your body is like a busy factory,
Okay.
spending a lot of energy digesting food
Yeah.
all the time. Intermittent fasting gives the factory break,
Right.
allowing it to focus on other important tasks like repairing cells and burning fat.
So you're giving your body
Uh,
a much-needed vacation from digesting.
exactly. And Dr. Berg really stresses excess insulin can be a problem.
Yeah.
He even says if you can see your belly, you probably have too much insulin.
Too much insulin.
Well, insulin is a really important hormone. It helps your body use energy from food,
Yeah.
but too much of it
Too much.
can lead to storing fat, especially that belly fat.
Oh, I see.
Too much insulin means the doors are always open and your cells are constantly taking in more energy, storing the excess as fat.
I see. I see. That's a really clear way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, I heard about something called the keto flu that people experience when they first start keto. What's up with that?
Your body's throwing a tantrum
Huh.
because you took away its favorite snack.
Yeah.
Glucose, not actually a flu, but it's a collection of symptoms. Headache, fatigue, nausea, as your body adapts.
Dr. Berg lists those in his video for sure.
Yeah.
He really emphasizes it's temporary.
It is usually mild and short-lived, last a few days to a week.
Okay.
The key is to stay hydrated and make sure you're getting enough electrolytes, like sodium, potassium, magnesium.
Oh, okay. So just like drinking lots of water
Yeah.
and having some salty broth could help.
Exactly. Electrolytes keep your body running smoothly.
Right.
When you're switching to keto, your body loses some of these electrolytes, which can contribute to the symptoms.
Okay. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So what does a typical keto meal actually look like?
Yeah.
Dr. Berg uses a plate to kind of demonstrate the proportions.
Yeah.
But is that how the science sees it?
Well, he suggests filling half your plate with non-starchy veggies,
Okay.
like broccoli, spinach,
Mhm.
a quarter with protein chicken or fish,
Okay.
and the remaining quarter with healthy fats, like olive oil or avocado.
Yeah.
And this actually aligns with the science. The
Right.
science highlights the importance of the ratio of macronutrients.
I see.
Fats, protein, and carbs.
Okay.
It's not so much about meticulously counting calories as getting the right balance.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah.
I don't want to be weighing every bite.
Right.
Haha. Dr. Berg also claims that keto isn't just about weight loss, but also overall health improvement,
Right.
like reducing inflammation and boosting brain function.
Yeah.
Any truth to that?
There's definitely some interesting research in those areas.
Yeah.
But before we dive into that, did you know that the ketogenic diet was originally used to treat a completely different condition?
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Tell me more.
It was used to help people with epilepsy.
Wow.
It could reduce seizures in some patients.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's amazing how something developed for one purpose
Yeah,
can have such a wide range of applications.
that's right.
And Dr. Berg seems really confident that people can stick with this long term. He says people feel less hungry and have fewer cravings
That's right.
on keto.
And there's evidence to back that up.
Really?
The ketogenic diet can help regulate hormones related to hunger and satiety,
Okay.
making it easier to to those dietary restrictions.
I see.
It's not just willpower, your body's actually working with you.
Wow. That's great news for anyone struggling with those late night cravings.
Absolutely.
But we're only just scratching the surface of what keto can do.
We are.
It seems like it has potential benefits for managing diabetes, heart disease, and even some neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Absolutely. And for those who are as fascinated by knowledge as we are, you've got to check out Thinkiverse podcast on YouTube.
Yes,
We dive into all sorts of mind-blowing topics just like this.
that's right. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of curious minds.
Absolutely.
But back to keto.
Okay.
Are there any downsides or things to be cautious about?
You bring up a really good point. While there's a lot of excitement around keto, more research is needed
Oh.
to fully understand its long-term effects.
Mm-hmm.
Transitioning off keto should be gradual and ideally supervised by a healthcare professional.
Okay, so it's not a magic bullet
Right.
and comes with some caveats. It's great to have that balanced perspective,
Absolutely.
don't you think? And speaking of perspective, I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
This has been a real eye-opener for me, and I hope it has been for you too.
I agree.
Let's take a step back and recap what we've learned so far. What are some key takeaways
Right.
that our listeners should remember about the keto diet?
Well, we learned that the keto diet is all about flipping the switch on how your body uses energy, shifting from burning sugar to burning fat for fuel.
Right.
This leads to the production of ketones, those little energy packets we talked
That's
about.
the little guys.
Yeah.
And this shift can lead to weight loss
Mm-hmm.
and potentially even improvements in metabolic health.
Yeah.
Plus, we learned this isn't a new fad diet. Keto has a history, starting as a treatment for epilepsy,
Right.
before becoming a popular weight management strategy.
Exactly.
And while there's definitely a lot of buzz and some really promising research about the keto diet's benefits for various health conditions, it's crucial to remember it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Very good point.
More research is needed, and any significant dietary change should be approached thoughtfully and ideally under the guidance of a healthcare professional.
Absolutely.
All right, so for a little cliffhanger before we move on to part 2 of our keto exploration,
Yeah, okay.
now that you have a bit of an understanding of what the ketogenic diet is and how it works, consider this.
Right.
Could this be a dietary approach that aligns with your own health goals and lifestyle?
We'll delve deeper into the potential benefits and risks, as well as practical tips for adopting a keto lifestyle in part 2.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're digging deeper into the ketogenic diet, this time focusing on the potential benefits and risks.
Yeah, it's important to get the whole picture.
Right. And as we mentioned earlier, while there's growing evidence suggesting benefits, it's crucial to approach it with a balanced perspective.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the potential downsides.
Okay.
We talked about the keto flu,
Oh,
which
ooh.
can sound pretty intimidating.
Right.
Can you remind us what that is and how long it typically lasts?
Sure. Keto flu is a collection of temporary symptoms.
Okay.
Some people experience when they transition to a ketogenic diet.
Right.
These symptoms can include headaches, fatigue, nausea, constipation, and even brain fog.
Oh, wow.
Think of it as your body going through a bit of withdrawal as it adjusts to using fat for fuel
Okay.
instead of its usual sugar fix.
So it's like those grumpy mornings when you haven't had your coffee yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the good news is this grumpy phase usually doesn't last long.
Okay.
Most people find these symptoms subside within a few days to a week.
Okay.
And there are things you can do to minimize the discomfort, like staying super hydrated and ensuring you're getting enough electrolytes,
Okay.
especially sodium, potassium, and magnesium.
So drinking plenty of water
Yeah,
and maybe adding some salt to your food
exactly.
could help.
Think of electrolytes as those minerals that keep your body's electrical system running smoothly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When you switch to keto, your body flushes out more electrolytes,
Okay.
which can contribute to those symptoms.
Gotcha. So besides the keto flu, are there any other potential risks or concerns associated with the keto diet?
Well, since the keto diet is a pretty drastic change.
Yeah.
Some people might experience digestive hiccups as their gut microbiome adjusts
Really?
to this new way of eating.
Interesting.
This could show up as constipation or diarrhea.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Our gut bacteria are used to feasting on all those carbs.
Right.
So changing things up could definitely throw them off balance.
Absolutely.
What about nutrient deficiencies?
Yeah.
Dr. Berg talked about healthy keto, but I've heard that restricting certain food groups could lead to missing out on important nutrients.
That's a valid concern, especially if it's not well planned.
Right.
It can lead to deficiencies in certain vitamins and minerals
I see.
that are commonly found in fruits, grains, and some vegetables, foods that you typically limit on keto.
Okay.
This is where Dr. Berg's emphasis on healthy keto really comes in.
Yeah.
It's not just about cutting carbs and loading up on any kind of fat.
Right.
It's about making sure you're choosing nutrient-dense foods
Yeah.
to ensure you're getting all those vitamins and minerals.
You can't just live on bacon and butter
Not exactly.
and expect to thrive.
While those foods have their place,
Yeah.
in a keto diet, it's all about balance.
Right.
And making sure you're getting a variety of nutrient-rich foods.
Good to know. What about long-term effects of keto on things like heart health? There seems to be a lot of debate about the high fat intake,
Yeah.
especially saturated fat.
That's a really important question,
Yeah.
and one that researchers are still exploring. While some studies suggest that keto can improve certain cardiovascular risk factors,
Like what?
like lowering triglycerides
Yep.
and increasing HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol,
Right.
there are also concerns about the impact of high saturated fat
Yeah.
on LDL cholesterol, the
Yeah.
bad cholesterol.
So it's not a clear-cut answer when it comes to heart health.
Exactly. More research is needed
Okay.
to fully understand those long-term effects.
Okay. Are there any other potential downsides we should be aware of?
One thing to consider, especially for people with kidney issues,
Right.
is the potential strain a high-protein ketogenic diet can put on the kidneys.
I see.
It's important to note that not all keto diets are high in protein,
Right.
but it's something to be mindful of,
Yeah.
especially if you have any pre-existing kidney conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Consulting with a healthcare professional before making any major dietary changes
Right.
is always a smart move.
Great advice. It sounds like there are definitely a few potential downsides to consider. But let's not forget all those potential benefits we discussed earlier.
Right.
Let's dig into those a bit deeper.
Okay.
One of the most well-documented benefits of the ketogenic diet is its effectiveness for weight loss
Absolutely.
by reducing carb intake
Mm-hmm.
and increasing fat consumption. The keto diet helps shift your body into that fat-burning state
Right.
we talked about earlier called ketosis.
Ketosis.
And remember that plate visual Dr.
Yeah.
Berg showed?
Oh, yeah.
Half the plate is non-starchy veggies, a quarter is protein,
Mm-hmm.
and a quarter is healthy fat.
That's a really simple way to picture how to actually implement this.
I like that a lot.
Mhm.
And what's really cool about the keto diet
Yeah.
is it doesn't just promote weight loss, but also helps reduce those pesky cravings and feelings of hunger
Right.
that often sabotage other weight loss attempts.
Exactly.
Dr. Berg really emphasized that point.
He did.
He believes it's a key reason people are more successful sticking with keto over the long term.
And he has a point. Many people on a keto diet report feeling more satisfied and less hungry,
Right.
which makes it much easier to stick to the dietary restrictions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This, combined with the metabolic shift,
Mm.
can lead to significant and sustainable weight loss.
That's fantastic news for anyone who's struggled with yo-yo dieting in the past.
Absolutely.
But keto's benefits seem to extend far beyond just weight loss.
Right.
We mentioned its potential impact on diabetes, heart disease, and even neurodegenerative disorders.
That's right. The ketogenic diet has shown some real promise
Yeah.
in improving blood sugar control in individuals with type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
By reducing carb intake,
Yeah.
the keto diet helps stabilize blood sugar levels
Mhm.
and reduce insulin resistance, a
Yeah.
key factor in the development of type 2 diabetes.
I remember reading in the Stat Pearls article that keto might even be beneficial for certain neurodegenerative diseases,
Yes,
like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
that's correct.
Is that right?
While the research is still in its early stages, some studies suggest that the ketogenic diet may have neuroprotective effects.
Interesting.
It seems that ketones can provide an alternative energy source for brain cells that may be struggling to use glucose effectively,
I see.
which is a hallmark of neurodegenerative diseases.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
The potential implications are huge.
they are.
It seems like the keto diet is being investigated for a whole range of health conditions, even cancer.
That's right. There's a growing body of research
Yeah.
exploring the potential role of the ketogenic diet as a complementary therapy in cancer treatment.
Wow.
The idea is that by restricting glucose,
Mm-hmm.
which is fuel for many cancer cells,
Right.
the keto diet might help slow tumor growth
Okay.
and make conventional cancer treatments more effective.
That's incredibly exciting, although I imagine more research is needed
Absolutely.
before we start recommending keto to cancer patients.
It's still early days
Yeah.
in terms of understanding the full potential.
Right.
And as we've emphasized, it's crucial to approach any dietary changes, especially those as significant as keto,
Right.
with caution and under the guidance of a healthcare professional.
Sound advice. It seems like there are so many potential benefits to explore, but also some important considerations to keep in mind.
Right.
It's all about making informed choices.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the importance of having reliable sources of information,
Right.
like the ones we've been discussing today.
Yeah.
We've looked at Dr. Berg's insightful video on YouTube, which gives a great overview of the keto diet.
Yeah.
And we've also delved into the scientific literature from reputable sources like Stat Pearls
Yes.
and the National Center for Biotechnology information.
And speaking of reliable sources of information, a quick reminder about our fantastic YouTube channel, Thinkiverse Podcast.
Yes.
If you're gigging this deep dive and want more thought-provoking content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.
Absolutely.
We unlock knowledge across the spectrum, from science and tech to history and culture.
Would it?
No, with all this talk about potential benefits and risks of the keto diet,
Yeah.
I'm sure many of you are wondering, is this something I should try? Is it right for me?
Those are the million-dollar questions.
Right.
And guess what? We'll tackle those head-on in the final part of our keto deep dive.
All right.
We'll discuss practical considerations, tips for adopting a keto lifestyle,
Okay.
and key factors to help you determine if keto is the right fit for you.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on this keto journey for a while now.
We have been on quite a journey exploring this ketogenic diet, haven't we?
From the science behind ketosis
Yeah.
to the benefits, the risks, we've covered a lot.
We have.
And now, in this final part, we're going to tackle the big question.
The big one.
Is the keto diet right for me?
It's the question on everyone's mind, but it's not a simple yes or no.
Right.
No one size fits all.
Right. How do we even figure that out? What are the things to think about before jumping in?
Well, the first and probably most important step is to talk to your doctor, especially if you have any health conditions or are taking medications.
Yeah.
They can really help you determine if keto is a safe and appropriate choice.
That's great advice. We've said that a few times.
Yeah,
It's worth repeating.
it is.
Getting professional guidance is key.
It is.
What else should people consider?
Well, your lifestyle plays a huge role.
Okay.
Keto requires a pretty significant shift in eating habits.
Right.
And can be quite restrictive.
Yeah.
It involves keeping a close eye on your macro intake,
Mm-hmm.
especially those carbs. And you might have to prepare most of your meals at home
Yeah.
to stay within those limits.
So it's not exactly like a grab-and-go kind of diet.
Not really.
Right.
It takes commitment,
Yeah.
planning,
If you're someone who eats out a lot or relies on convenience foods,
right?
sticking to keto could be tough.
It could be. Requires a certain level of dedication and willingness to adapt.
Okay. So lifestyle is key. What about food preferences?
Yeah?
Keto seems to focus on meat and high-fat dairy. Can vegetarians or vegans do this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Remember that healthy keto concept?
Yeah.
It's about making smart choices
Yeah.
within the framework.
Right.
While many people associate keto with bacon and butter, there are tons of plant-based options
Really?
that fit the bill. Think avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and non-starchy veggies.
That's reassuring.
It is.
It sounds like there's more flexibility
Uh-huh.
than people might initially think.
There is. It's about getting creative,
Yeah.
finding what works for you.
Within the guidelines, any other practical tips or things to keep in mind?
One thing that catches people off guard
Yeah.
is that initial transition period.
The keto flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while it's temporary, those symptoms can be pretty rough.
Right.
The good news is there are things you can do.
Okay.
Staying hydrated is super important,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
is making sure you're getting enough electrolytes.
So drinking plenty of water and adding some electrolytes
Oh,
to
yeah.
your drinks could make the transition smoother.
Exactly. Give your body that support.
Yeah.
It needs to adjust.
Any other words of wisdom?
Don't go from 0 to keto overnight.
Okay.
Gradually reduce your carb intake and increase your fat consumption.
Yeah.
Help your body adapt.
Okay.
And remember, keto isn't a magic bullet.
Right.
It's a tool that can be helpful for some,
Yeah.
but it's not a cure-all.
Right.
It takes effort, commitment, and ongoing monitoring to make sure it's working.
Great advice. And speaking of tools and resources,
Mm-hmm.
one last shout out to our amazing YouTube channel, Thinkiverse Podcast.
Oh, yeah, check it out.
We've been diving deep into the keto diet,
We have.
but our channel covers a whole universe of fascinating topics.
Absolutely. From the latest in science and tech
Yeah.
to the mysteries of history and culture, we've got something for everyone.
So hit that subscribe button and join our community of curious minds.
Yes.
We'd love to have you along for the ride.
We would.
All right, it's time to wrap up this epic exploration of the ketogenic diet.
I think so.
We've decoded the science,
We have.
weighed the pros and cons,
Absolutely.
and hopefully given you the tools to decide if keto is right for you.
That's right.
So keep learning,
Stay curious.
and don't be afraid to dive deep into the topics that fascinate you.
And
Thanks for joining us on this keto adventure.
we'll see you next time.